So my name is Amanda Sue Piltz. I'm the Director of Technology here at SAR, and today we're talking about social media, and the topic today is Social Media 101. So we're really going to go over the basics of social media. All right, so first, why social media? Is social media even important? Do I really need to use it in my real estate business? The first thing that social media helps with is it helps increase awareness of your brand. So as a realtor, your brand is really you. It's who you are, the knowledge that you have about the community and about real estate, and the ways that you can help your clients. So that's the biggest advantage of social media, is it really is reaching a wide range of people and a lot of people for very, very little money. And it can really increase the awareness that people have of you and what you do. Social media is also a great sphere networking tool. It helps you stay connected with current and past clients as well as with potential clients. So anybody in your sphere of influence that you know, social media can help you stay connected to them and really further those relationships. And again, with very little, if any, money invested and with very little time. So when we're talking about social media, you're going to want to think about your return on investment, except instead of return on investment, it's really return on time. So it's the time investment that you put into social media and analyzing that for what you get out of it. Social media, it's usually harder to tell exactly what your ROI or your ROT is. It's hard to, when you first start a social media campaign, so to speak, it's really hard to measure exactly what dollars it's getting you. And that's mainly because, you know, these three things that social media is great for: increasing awareness, staying connected with your current and past clients, and engaging with potential clients. These three things definitely lead to more revenue and more dollars in your pocket and more transactions, but it may be hard to really put a dollar figure on that. It may be hard to put a dollar figure on what people knowing about you and knowing your name and knowing what you do. It's hard to really say how much that's worth. But just because it's hard to calculate the exact ROI or ROT doesn't mean that it's impossible. So there's been lots of statistics and there's lots of ways to really measure how social media is increasing your business and increasing your profits. And for a lot of people, it's very successful. And another way to think about social media as well is that social media is not technology. It's really marketing. So if you think about all of the marketing that you do, whether you do TV ads or radio ads, or whether you do postcards that you mail out to people, or whether you do email newsletters, or whether you do video, whatever it is that you do for marketing, traditional marketing, you know, even ads in the newspaper, and then more of the social media marketing. Social media is just another form of marketing. So yes, you use technology to do social media and to implement it, but you really need to remember the marketing techniques and the real marketing basics when you're posting on social media. So this is a chart. It comes out every year and basically categorizes all of the different social media outlets that are available. You may have seen something like this before. This is the newest one, so it looks a little bit different. You obviously don't need to memorize this whole thing, but I just wanted to go over a little bit of it. You can see that it basically categorizes all social media platforms into three big categories, which is listening, learning, and adapting. And some social media websites come into play in two different areas. For example, you can see down in the bottom and a little bit off to the right in the discussion and forums section, you see Facebook. And then up top again in the social networks, up at the very top and a little to the right, you see Facebook again. So there are some social media sites that are in multiple categories. But this basically just gives you a good overview and a good idea of all the social networking sites that are available. So looking at this, your first question is probably, wow, that's a lot. Do I need to be on all of them? And the answer is absolutely not. There is no reason that you need to be in every single place possible. That would be like asking you to do TV ads and radio ads and advertise in the newspaper and advertise on Zillow and advertise on Realtor.com and do social media and do print marketing and do postcards and do flyers and do email marketing. So You absolutely do not need to be on every single social media site. However, you should probably be on, I would say, the 3 to 5 biggest social media sites. You should probably have some sort of profile or some sort of awareness on the big 5, I would say. And just having a profile on those big 5, though, isn't, unfortunately, isn't good enough. One of the worst things that you can do is have a social media profile that has nothing on it. It really makes it look like you're not engaged, you're not with the times. If you don't have time to devote to social media, it's really better not to have a profile at all than to have, what I would call a dead profile. So make sure if you're going to venture into any new social media that you really commit the time to do it. It doesn't mean that you need to post 5 updates a day, by no means, but you need to have at least on every single social media profile you have, I would say you need a new post at least within the last 30 days, preferably more. But again, you don't need a profile on every single site. So how do you choose which one you want to use and which ones you don't? Like I said, it's good to have a profile on the big social media engines, which we'll go over in a little bit. But really, which one you use and which one you really utilize to its full capacity is up to you. It really depends on what you're comfortable with. If Twitter and the language on Twitter is something that appeals to you and you can use it really easily, then do that. Facebook usually is easier for people. It's been around longer, so you may be more familiar with it. If you like Facebook, then use Facebook. If you really like taking and sharing photos, maybe Instagram or Flickr might be something a little bit better. So it's really completely up to your choice. You're probably going to want to have a profile again on a couple of these sites, but there may be just 1 or 2 that you really enjoy using, that you really see a lot of benefit from and you really see that ROI or ROT from. And that's fine. It's probably good to use one more than the others. And really, again, it goes back to whatever works best for you, whatever you feel most comfortable with. It is marketing, so you're going to want to make sure that you're using it consistently and you're using it to the best of your ability. So you are going to want to choose at least one that you're really active on. Any social media profile that you have, you're going to want to have an update, like I said, at least every 30 days, preferably more. But you should have at least 1 or 2 profiles where you're updating consistently almost every single day, or even multiple times a day, depending on the platform. So this may sound like a lot, but we're going to go over kind of the different big 5 social media networks. But like I said, you don't need to have a profile on all of them. And really it's about choosing which ones you enjoy being on and really capitalizing on those. And it may be just one. If you like using Facebook now personally, just transfer that over to more of a business type platform and you can start seeing an ROI from it without having to use any of these others. So can you pay someone to do all of this social media stuff for you? I suppose that you could, but I don't know why you would want to. As I mentioned before, social media is your marketing, and oftentimes it's the first impression that a client or potential client has of you. So the way that you present yourself on social media, the way that you talk, the things that you post, the things that you comment on, what you say, what you do, all of that is representing you. And especially as a realtor, you're usually a small business owner. So you're really representing, how you represent yourself is how you represent your business. So I don't know if social media is the best place to just kind of pay a college kid to post on there for you, because you really want to make sure that you're presenting yourself in the way that you want to be presented and that you want people to think of you. It's kind of like, would you send somebody to, would you pay a college kid to go to your listing appointment and do your listing presentation for you? Probably not, because you really think of that as your first impression to get that possible listing. Well, social media and your marketing in general really is your first impression that you have with potential clients. So it's really something that I think you need to do yourself to really get the best ROI on it. But again, you don't have to do all of it. You can choose just a couple. So before we get into kind of the big 4 of the social networks, I want to go over some basics and terminology. Having a blog or the word WordPress comes up quite a bit. So I just want to kind of explain what the difference is between social media and blogging. So there are sites such as blogger.com or Tumblr or WordPress.com. There are sites like that where they use blogging as a social media platform. And blogging in itself is some type of, it can be considered social media. But a lot of times blogs are more comparable to a website than they are to social media. So for example, on our website, on saronline.com, our news section could be considered a blog. It's timely, there's different updates, there's some news releases, but it's also a lot of personal opinion, a lot of information, and people can comment on that and engage with those stories. So on our website, it's not only our website, but it's also has a blog kind of integrated into it. And again, blogs can be considered social media if you're using something like Tumblr, but I really think blogging is important, and it's almost more of part of your website than social media. So that's why I'm not, if you need more information on that, just let me know. But that's why I'm not going to be talking about a lot of the blogging platforms today, because I really consider those as best utilized on a website rather than in a social media Tumblr type of aspect. So speaking of your website, whenever you're looking into doing any type of social media, you're really going to be wanting to do hub marketing. And this is what I mean by hub marketing. You have all of these different profiles on all of these different social media platforms, and they're kind of like spokes on a wheel. And you want all of those things to lead to one place, which is ideally your website and ideally the place where you can capture leads. So what you're going to want to do is on all these different social media platforms, and as we go through this, you'll see a little bit more of what I'm talking about, you kind of catch different demographics and different types of people, and you kind of talk to them and engage with them in a different way. So what you're going to want to make sure that you do, and this is a great way to help you measure your return on time as well, is all of your social media profiles should push traffic to your hub, which again is usually is the center of this spoke here, usually your website. And the more traffic that you push to your hub, which ideally will have a place where you can capture leads or some sort of IDX or contact form, the more you push people there, you can measure, based on your website analytics, how many people are visiting your website, as well as how many leads are coming in, how many people are sending you an email from your website, or maybe how many people are using your IDX. And then you can not only really measure your ROI, but this is the way that you can actually turn those connections that you make and those relationships that you build on social media and turn them into dollar figures and turn them into transactions. So always keep hub marketing in mind. On the different platforms, there are different ways to drive people to your website or drives people to your hub. But really, at the very least, have a link to your website on all of your profiles on every social media engine that you use. Ideally, you're going to want to do even more than that. For example, if you have some sort of way to post news or to post a blog on your hub, on your website, then you can actually share those blog posts that you post onto your social media platforms. So then if you have a great lead-in about, the market statistics for July and why it's a great time to buy, and you post it on Twitter, the link leads straight back to your website. I hope that kind of makes sense to everybody. So you're really going to want to focus on, when you're marketing online, always driving traffic to one spot. So anytime you're posting something or anytime you say for more information, visit, anything like that, it should all go to the same spot, and that should be your website. All right. So let's talk about the different types of social media. So there's microblogging, which Twitter is really when you talk about microblogging, that's really Twitter. This just means blog posts, your own thoughts, your own stories, your own news in a very short format. There's also social networking, interacting with people, life stories, personal events. Facebook and LinkedIn are good examples of that. There's also photo sharing. So Flickr and Instagram are good examples of photo sharing. And then there's also video. So YouTube and Vimeo are the two biggest social media outlets for video. So these are all very different things and have all very different purposes, but they all kind of fall under that big umbrella of social media. So I'm going to do a poll. Oops. And I just want to see what social media you all use. So I have Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Pinterest, and YouTube all selected here. So go ahead and select all of them. Any type of social media that you use, go ahead and select that. All right, I'll give you just a couple more seconds. And it could be you have a profile on there, you use it all the time, you use it just every once in a while, just any type of social media that you consider yourself having or using. All right. So let me go ahead and show you the results from that. So it's probably pretty much what you expected. So the vast majority of you have a profile on LinkedIn, and then right behind that is Facebook. And then next is Twitter, and then we've got a few people who are using YouTube, and then a little bit less who are using Pinterest. So probably the biggest social media outlet is Facebook, and you saw from our poll that 67% of you are using Facebook. So the majority of you are using Facebook. Well, who else is using Facebook? Facebook currently has over 1 billion monthly active users. In fact, 67%, and actually it's the same as us, so 67% of the people on the webinar today use Facebook, and that's perfectly in line because 67% of all internet users use Facebook. Just think about that, how big that number is. The majority of Facebook users are between 25 and 34 years of age, so it's a little bit younger demographic, but it's a pretty good middle range there, and actually a pretty good range for first-time home buyers as well. The average age of the Facebook user is 30. A lot of people probably think that Facebook and social media in general is for younger people, but I think this really shows you, the average age being 30 on Facebook, that it's really not just for high schoolers and teenagers and college kids. Facebook really has a broad reach, and the average age 30, so that's a little bit higher probably than most of you would expect. And historically, over the past 3 years or so, the average age of Facebook has been increasing, so it's actually appealing more and more to the older demographics. So Facebook is almost cut straight in half, 50-50 men to women. So it really, with 67% of the internet users, it really doesn't appeal more to men than to women. So you're going to get pretty much a good sampling of the population on Facebook. And my favorite statistic is 52%. So over half of all Facebook users engage with Facebook every day. So Facebook isn't the type of social media profile that people just kind of set and use it for a little while and then forget about it. Over half use Facebook every single day. So this is a huge platform. Facebook is by far the most popular, engaged platform for social media. So if you're not on Facebook, if you're part of that 23% that we pulled, or I'm sorry, 33% that we pulled that is not on Facebook, I would really consider getting on board with it, because this is a huge group that you can be reaching. So how do you use Facebook? I did a Facebook strategies for real estate class a couple of weeks ago, so if you're really interested in how to use Facebook, I would check out that recording that's available online. I'm just going to go over some of the basics about Facebook since this is more of an intro class. So usually people ask, do I need a personal profile on Facebook or do I need a business page? There are reasons to have both. I think both are very important. If you were only going to do one, if you only had time to do one and that's all you wanted to do, I would say get a personal profile on Facebook, and here's why. In real estate, you're really marketing yourself. You're your brand, you're your identity, and you're the person that people are going to be interacting with when they come to your business. You really are your business. So it's a very personal, real estate is a very personal business, so I recommend having a personal profile. And it also makes it a lot easier for you as well. On the business page, you're more of throwing information at people. You're giving them statistics, you're giving them news and hoping that they comment on it, hoping that they like it, hoping that they share it, which is fine and it's beneficial for some brands. But for you, it's more about having a personal connection with somebody. So on your personal profile, you can comment on somebody else's photo. You can like their status. You can tag them. You can visit their profile. You can go to events with them. You can join Facebook groups with them. And there's a lot of things that are really tailored towards personal interactions that you can do on your personal profile that you can't do on your business page. So if you're using Facebook for personal use right now and you're thinking that, you know, how am I going to start using it for business? I really only use it to share pictures with my kids, keep in touch with family and old friends. Really, you don't want to create a second personal profile just for business. There are great ways, and it's so much easier to manage using your personal Facebook profile for everything, whether it's for business or keeping in touch with family and old friends, to marketing yourself and to representing yourself on social media. So there's a lot of ways to use your personal profile to really engage all of your sphere. So all of your friends, all of your family, people who live out of state even, and as well as past clients or potential clients. You can do all of that from one personal profile on Facebook. So each social media platform kind of caters to different types of posts, and there's different types of information that appeals to the people on each platform. So on Facebook, the big thing is pictures. The platform is really designed to highlight pictures. They're really easy to get to. They're really easy to scroll through. They look really attractive. So if you're going to be using Facebook, post lots of pictures. One of the most popular posts that we had on our star Facebook was just a picture of a sunset from a really nice house overlooking Pinnacle Peak. So it doesn't even have to necessarily be a super informative picture, but getting that engagement and getting that interest in the things that you post, pictures are a really good way to do that. So asking questions when you're posting on Facebook or doing some sort of fun fill in the blank can actually be really engaging. So you can say something like, my favorite thing about Scottsdale is blank, or asking people questions like, what are you up to this weekend, or what was your favorite thing that you did this weekend, or, you know, really anything. And it doesn't have to be all real estate related, and it probably shouldn't be all real estate related, because just like you're more than your business, you're more than a real estate agent. You have a lot of other things that go on in your life that you enjoy doing. Other people are the same way, and they're going to really, the way that you're going to utilize Facebook to your advantage is by connecting with people on a personal level. And that's what Facebook is really good for, is to share your personal life with somebody and to share common interests and common goals and things like that. So I really encourage you to get a little personal on Facebook. You know, you can still be professional with still sharing that you love to kayak, or that you love your dogs, or that you love to travel. You can share those things with people and really create a personal connection that's really going to benefit you. So on your personal profile on Facebook, the best way to manage it is to use lists. There's some that are built into Facebook, but you can actually create custom lists that have exactly who you put on them. I don't have a lot of time to go into all of it, so I encourage you to check out, again, the recorded webinar on Facebook strategies. But basically, you can have a list that's called your A-list clients. And on this list, you have your top 10 people who send you the most referrals. And so every day you can go in and you can just click on your A-list, and you can just see all of the updates from everybody that's on that A-list from your top 10 clients. And then you can go through and then, you know, comment on them and like them and share them as you see appropriate. And then you're really focusing your time and your energy. You wade through all the clutter on Facebook, and you're really focusing on connecting with the people who send you the most business. You can also create lists that are for maybe out-of-town people. And so then if you're posting something that's very Scottsdale specific, you can post it to everybody except those people who live out of town. And that's kind of just a polite way to use Facebook. And you can do the flip side as well. You can post maybe a hotel deal, or maybe a great event that's coming to Scottsdale that people from out of town would want to come and visit. You can post that and post it only to the out of town people. So really using lists on your personal Facebook is not only a polite way to use social media, but it's going to increase your effectiveness. It's almost like target marketing, just in, in any other use of marketing. You always want to target the people that you're sending it to really get the most bang for your buck. Well, this is really getting the most bang for your time by using lists. It's making sure that you can keep up with the clients who are important to you and who send you the most business, and that you can communicate exactly with who you need to. Another great way to use Facebook is check-ins. As a real estate agent, people really look to you to be the guru of Scottsdale or of DC Ranch or of downtown Phoenix, whatever your area is. People really look to you to be a community expert and to know what's going on and to know the best restaurants to go to and know the best hiking trails. People expect that of you. So putting check-ins on Facebook, which is really easy, just from your smartphone, whenever you go somewhere, you click on the Facebook app and you just click check-in, and you can choose where you are, whether it's at a local restaurant or whether you're at a hiking trail or whether you're at an event. Facebook check-ins really show anybody that you're connected to on Facebook that you really are who you say you are, that you really enjoy going to these things, that you support local businesses, that you attend a lot of functions and events that keep you on top of your game and on top of the industry and make sure that you know what's going on in the community. For example, if anybody went to our water summit this morning, you could have checked into that on Facebook, and then all of your clients, future, past, present, or maybe potential clients would have seen that you're really on top of the water issues in Arizona and that you're a good resource for them for that. So check-ins are a really easy, simple, subtle way to really reaffirm that you are a community expert. Okay, so any questions about Facebook before we move on? All right. Okay, so next we're going to jump over to Twitter. 44% of the people on this call said that they have a Twitter account, and it is definitely one of the fastest growing social media outlets, but currently only 16% of internet users use Twitter. So compared to 44% of people on this call, only 16% of internet users actually use it. So that's something to think about when you're deciding what profiles to use, even though Twitter sounds like the newest thing and the best thing, or maybe even the new Facebook. Really, it's got a long ways to go to catch up to Facebook, which is dominating with 67% of internet users. Twitter also has kind of a unique demographic. There are more minorities that have Twitter profiles than any other social media outlet. So that's something to keep in mind when you're looking at where to spend your time. If there's certain demographics that you like to target or that you like to work with, or maybe you're multilingual, there are certain social media outlets that are going to be a better use of your time than others. So what do you post on Twitter? Promoted tweets are a really, really great use of Twitter. Basically what it does is it takes some keywords out of your tweet, which is a 140 character status update basically. It takes some of those keywords out of your tweet and puts it in front of a bunch of people who you may not already be connected with. So promoted tweets are the single best way to really grow your sphere and to gain new followers on Twitter. Twitter is also great for use of hashtags. Facebook just recently added hashtags into their platform, so it'll be a little bit of time before we see if that really gets utilized on Facebook. But Twitter is really what started the hashtags. And I have hashtag what is that on there. So a lot of people aren't really sure what hashtags are or how you're supposed to use them. It's basically just a way of grouping stories together. So rather than searching for keywords, if you're looking for information on a specific topic, the topics or events or companies, they usually have a specific hashtag. And if you search for that hashtag, you can see everything that's going on related to that topic that you're searching for. So there's a lot of different, usually there's hashtags for events. For example, our Realtor World that's coming up in September, it's hashtag Realtor World. So if you're looking for updates, or if you're at the event and you're trying to find out what promotions are going on at that moment, you can search on Twitter for that hashtag and get all of those updates. And it's from any user. So anybody in the world who's using that particular hashtag, they'll show up in your feed. It's also important to note with that the reason that hashtags work so well on Twitter is because Twitter is a very open platform. Unlike Facebook, where you have custom lists and you can share your updates just with specific lists, and you can set your privacy settings so that only your friends can see what you post, and only these people can see pictures, and only friends of friends can see your relationship status. Facebook has a lot of those privacy settings. Twitter does not. Twitter is basically two things. Either you're completely locked down or you're completely open. And the majority of people on Twitter are completely open. So anybody can go in and they can see your picture, they can see your short bio, and they can see everything that you tweet out, everything that you post. So Twitter's a lot more open of a platform, but it also makes it a lot easier for a lot of people, and it's a lot easier to find what you're looking for. For example, responding to questions from your clients or previous clients, or from just members of the public, is a lot easier on Twitter. You can use platforms like Hootsuite, which is a free platform that you can use to monitor social media channels. So you can actually just search in Twitter for anybody who's talking about moving to Scottsdale. And if there's anybody who has a specific question, you can respond to them right on Twitter. So that openness of Twitter really opens up a lot of doors for you, because you can connect with people that you normally wouldn't be able to find or connect with. Twitter is also a one-way communication channel. So on Facebook, you have to send a friend request to somebody, and that person has to confirm that friend request, and then you're mutually connected. Twitter is completely different. You can go and you can follow on Twitter whoever you want to, and they can either follow you back or not follow you back. It's completely up to them. But no matter what, if you click follow on them, you're connected to them. And they may not see your updates, but you still see their updates. So it's more of a one-way connection versus Facebook, which is more of a friendship two-way connection. And that really makes Twitter such a different platform than Facebook is. Twitter is also great for news, again, because it's so open. It's a really great place to post news stories. I know a lot of people who don't even read a newspaper anymore. All they do is look on Twitter, and they look at what's trending on Twitter, and they can get pretty much all their news that way. Or they just follow their favorite news station. So you can follow, for example, ABC 15. You can follow them on Twitter, and they'll tweet out any updates and anything that's going on that you need to know about. This is the way that a lot of people get their news now, is just by following people on Twitter. Okay, so any questions about Twitter before I move on to the next one? All right. So next is LinkedIn. So 89% of people on this webinar said that they used LinkedIn, and that was the most out of all the social networks. So probably almost all of you have a profile on LinkedIn, and that's great, because 34% of internet users making over $75,000 a year are on LinkedIn. And it's even more than that for all internet users. So it's a bigger social network than Twitter is. Still not as big as Facebook, but it's a pretty big and growing social network. You're also going to get a little bit different people on LinkedIn. So 77% of LinkedIn users have a college education. That's a lot different from Twitter and from Facebook. LinkedIn is really a higher, more professional level of users who are using it, and that's largely because of what it's for. It's for job hunting, and it's for making professional connections. The majority of LinkedIn users are over 30. So Facebook, the majority are about 25 to 34 with a median age of 30, but LinkedIn, the vast majority are already over 30 years old. So on LinkedIn, it's also a mutual connection like Facebook, and it has a lot of different privacy settings that you can set, similar to Facebook as well. It's not an all or nothing thing like Twitter is. There's also a lot more information that you can put on LinkedIn. I'm guessing all of you are pretty familiar with it, about how to fill out your profile, how you can put experience, designations, certifications on there, and also put your skills and expertise. All of that is very important. But there's also kind of like a news feed on LinkedIn, similar to Facebook, that you can use to post updates and interact with people. So what types of things should you post on LinkedIn? Well, again, this is a little bit of a more professional and more wealthy clientele that's going to be on LinkedIn. So you're going to want to post things that are going to be of interest to them. So it's more of the hardcore facts and news. So market statistics are a great thing to post on LinkedIn. What's going on in the market, what's going on with interest rates, why it's a seller's market, why it's a buyer's market, what are the best places for investment properties. Those are all great things to post onto LinkedIn. Also area news, things from the Phoenix Business Journal, things about new companies moving to the area, maybe new job openings that are opening up, different types of news and different types of things that you see, again, in the Phoenix Business Journal, on your favorite news source. These are all great things to post onto LinkedIn. And links to other blogs or articles and thought-provoking things are good to post on LinkedIn as well. LinkedIn has a whole section that's called Thought Leaders, and you can follow all of these people, CEOs of large corporations and authors, and you can follow all these people and really see what they're posting in their blogs. And they'll post on a ton of different topics. So around graduation time, there were all these thought leaders who were posting about you know, the one thing they should have told you at commencement that they didn't. So there's things like this on LinkedIn already, and that's because that's the type of things that the demographic of LinkedIn users like to see. So blogs, articles, thought-provoking stories, those are all good to post on LinkedIn. So any LinkedIn specific questions before we move on? All right. So next we're going to talk about YouTube. So who is using YouTube? If you remember from our poll, only 33% of people on this webinar said that they're using YouTube. Well, 58% of internet users are using YouTube. So there is a big difference there between the vast majority of internet users using YouTube and the people on this call. Really, that just goes to show that YouTube is so underutilized as a resource in general for businesses and especially in real estate. It is very, very underutilized. You'll remember that Facebook, 67% of internet users are on Facebook. YouTube is not very far behind at all, yet the differences between people on this call who use Facebook versus YouTube is a big difference. Also, anyone who uses Google can technically be considered a YouTube user. Google, of course, the most popular search engine, that company Google owns YouTube. And so what they do is when you're searching for something, and you've probably noticed this before, when you're searching for something in Google, a lot of times videos will pop up. And all of those videos are videos from YouTube that are showing up in your search engine results. So whenever you go to Google something, you're going to notice more and more and more videos are going to be popping up instead of articles. And that's part of Google's doing, and it's part of users doing. So Google has noticed that video is becoming more and more popular, and YouTube is by far the biggest video platform. So that's the way things are going. And honestly, if you're not on YouTube already, you're kind of already behind. And YouTube would be, next to Facebook, YouTube would be what I would jump on next. Not enough real estate agents are using it, and it's a huge untapped market. So 800 million people each month visit YouTube. So you don't necessarily have to have an account on YouTube and be posting videos to use it. I'm sure all of you at one point or another have watched a video on YouTube. So even if you're not posting and contributing to the social network, there's still a lot of people who are consuming the social network, which is very unique from any other. You can't really be on Facebook at all if you don't have a Facebook profile. YouTube is completely different. It's almost like a big repository of all these videos that you can access whether you have a YouTube account or not. So it's very, very consumable and reaches a wide range of people. So how do you use YouTube? YouTube is, of course, for video. There's basically two different ways to use it, and I would use it for both. But you can either have your own personal YouTube channel, or you can use YouTube on your website. So having a YouTube channel is just like having a Facebook profile or a Twitter profile. It lives on youtube.com, so you would go to youtube.com/ and then whatever your username is, and you'd be able to see all the videos that you've uploaded. You can make the channel look nice with different photos and background colors. You can sort your videos however you want, very similar to some of the other social networking sites. The other way that you can use YouTube is, rather than prettying up your channel and using your channel to connect with people, you can just, at the very least, you should be posting videos on your website. So what you can do is actually upload videos to YouTube, and you get that search engine optimization, and you get the likelihood that your video is going to show up in Google search results, but then you do the majority of the promoting of your videos on your website. So you can actually embed your videos onto your website, and you can actually never even use your YouTube channel, and that's kind of just where all your videos live, but they're all played and promoted through your website or even through your other social media channels. So what types of things should you make video about? Your video should be less than 2 minutes. People have really short attention span these days. So if you can, make it less than 2 minutes, or make it so knock your socks off informative that they can stand listening for longer. Unfortunately, though, even if it's great material, the majority of people, they look at the title of a YouTube video, they click play, and the second the video starts playing, they look down and see the total length, because it's listed right there what the total length of this video is. And if it's longer than probably 3 or 4 minutes, they're probably not even going to continue listening. They're going to keep searching until they find a video that gives them the answer to their question in less than 2 minutes. It's a sad truth, but unfortunately that's how it is. So really aim at getting those videos short. So in your 2-minute videos, here are some ideas of things to talk about. Market updates. So what's going on in the market? Why is now a good time to buy? Is it a buyer's market or a seller's market? Just any market updates. Those are great things for videos, and you can do those in 2 minutes easy. Neighborhood tours. We have video now. There's no need for somebody who's out of state or even out of country who wants to buy a property here. There's no need for them to come here to look at their desired neighborhoods. They can find out exactly what neighborhood they want to live in, even from across the country or across the world. This is a very underutilized thing. Just something about the 5 best neighborhoods in Scottsdale you can do in 2 minutes, and you can just take your camera. You can even just take your iPhone for a lot of these. I mean, honestly, there's no need to buy a lot of equipment to make these videos. Just shoot it with your iPhone. Hold it landscape rather than up and down, so you get a nice widescreen video. And just drive around a neighborhood. Show what the houses look like. Show what the parks look like. Show kind of what the roads look like and what the drive-in looks like. All of those things are really easy to do, really quick to do. It won't take a lot of your time. It'll make a huge difference. It's really hard now if you're trying to find information about different neighborhoods in the area. It's very hard to find a video if you ever even find one. So this is a huge untapped potential there. Frequently asked questions. I know pretty much every agent has probably the top 5 questions that you know every single client is going to ask you. You know, every time you meet with a buyer, they probably ask you the same 5 questions, or at least one of those top 5 questions. Every time you meet with a seller, they have different questions, but it's usually almost every seller has at least one of the same 5 questions. Put these into a video. You could even compile a playlist of introduction to real estate for first-time sellers, or introduction to real estate for first-time buyers, or even just an introduction to Scottsdale. Or an introduction to Arizona. You know, the differences with a lot of people moving here from back east, it would be good to have the differences between Arizona and back east, how things are handled, how your property taxes are handled, different concerns such as water and things like that. Any frequently asked questions, any questions that your clients ask you over and over again, put them into a quick 2-minute video. And then if somebody ask you a question or send you an email in the middle of the night wanting an answer to this, rather than having to call them to explain it because it's not so great to put into text, just send them a link to the video and they have an immediate answer to their question. And really anything along those lines, anything informational is great to put into video. People hate to read. So putting really important information that they need to hear and putting it in a video is going to make it more likely that you get heard and that people get the information that they need. All right, any questions on YouTube? All right, that is all that I have planned for today. So if you have any questions, please feel free to use the question box on the right-hand side. I'll give you a couple of minutes to get your questions typed in. If you're interested in taking advantage of Friday and maybe diving into some more in-depth information about some of these social media platforms that we talked about today, you're more than welcome to do that. It's completely free. You get a half-hour one-on-one appointment with me to discuss anything, really anything that you would like that we've gone over today. So that's my cell phone and that's my email. Just send me a text or give me a call. Or shoot me an email and let me know what time on Friday you'd like to come in and we'll get you scheduled. And I'll give you guys just a couple minutes here to get your questions in. And again, if you've got to head out, this webinar is being recorded, so if there's any questions at the end that you missed, it'll be up on our website on saronline.com, and under your benefits, just click on Real Tech, and it should be up in the next few days. Okay, I had somebody ask about that very colorful social media wheel. Absolutely, I can send you a copy of that. If you wouldn't mind, just send me an email. My email's up on the screen, amandasue@saronline.com, and let me know and I'll send you the image file of it. All right, I'm going to go ahead and bring the webinar to the close and stop recording, but I will hang out for a couple more minutes if you have any last minute questions. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you all on Friday. Thank you so much for coming.